Welcome to Season 1, Episode 8 of The Scareguy Show. Last week, we experienced Knott's Scary Farm here in Southern California, and we live to talk about it. Best ghost host ever is here. And we take you through the horror movies on our watch list for October, courtesy of Derek, and plus a very special guest tonight, Naomi Grossman from American Horror Story, Painkillers, Fear Inc., and so many more films. We can't wait to talk to her tonight on the show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
That's pretty good. All right, everybody in the dancing mood?
Right?
October has started.
Not?
Halloween month is here.
Woo!
Trick or treat, everybody. I think we got some treats. Oh, I actually have some
Is it pumpkin Kit Kat?
pumpkin pie Kit
Ooh.
Kat.
Brad, treats?
Hey, Brad, are you watching? This is for you. This is for Brad. This is his
I want
favorite.
that.
So,
I was going to say, I'm like, I'll eat it.
I'll eat it.
my name is Jim
trivia
Fry.
this week?
My name is Jim Fry. I'm the managing editor for thescareguy.com. It's a site about all things scary fun, and this is the Scare Guy Show. Hopefully you will subscribe here. You can find me at Con Guy Jim, because we're the flip side of the Con Guy. But anyways, we have a lot of fun people here tonight, so who else do we have with us?
I was going to say, we're going this way.
That
Yes.
way.
Hey, my name is Carrie Lane. You can find me online at Carrie D. Lane. That's K-A-R-I-D-L-A-N-E. I'm a host here at the Popcorn Talk and AfterBuzz. If you can't get enough of horror, check out Horror Movie News tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll talk more about horror.
I watched it.
stuff.
It's a great show.
Yay, thank you. And our Voice in the Sky is also part of that show. And Box Office Breakdown on Sunday nights, as well as Star Trek Discovery and Monday Marvel Movie News. So, yes.
I'm next.
Yes.
So I'm Naomi Grossman. You already introduced me, but I was told this was a podcast. I did not come on here knowing that my face would be revealed. I apologize. I look closer to Pepper than Naomi tonight.
You look
no,
fantastic
shush.
tonight.
Anyway, if you want to find me online, I'm at Naomi W. Grossman.
I'm Derek Sams. I am a contributing writer to theconguy.com and one of the regular hosts of the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show with these guys. And tonight I am visiting here, even though I'm not that into horror. And
You're coming over to the dark side
yeah,
tonight.
Ooh.
you're going to try and
He's got a
scare
list
me.
of movies.
We
it's
have
fine.
candy. Come on.
Oh, okay.
So,
And who's on the couch?
Greetings. I'm Cheeseman on the Couch, your spooky host. You can find me on thescareguy.com and also on Twitter at ConGuyLuke.
it's a whole new kind of
What,
scary.
what is this?
I'm not going to sit like this whole show. I'm just playing people.
Come on, we're here. We got a show to do. He's got the whole couch to himself tonight, so it's a good time.
I am wearing a nice Friday the 13th shirt
Yeah.
of Roy, not Jason, if you've seen
right.
the other show. But
Speaking
we won't
of-
get into that and bore people like Heather.
Well, we could get into it a little bit. This week is Friday the 13th. This is
It
one of the
is.
rare
Woohoo!
Octobers
Oh,
with
you're
Friday
right.
the 13th.
And I was born on the 13th, but not a Friday, a Saturday.
Originally, there was a brand new Friday the 13th movie coming out this weekend, but Paramount has yanked it out of production. They were not real happy with it. Can you guys
Happy
hear me?
Death
I
Day's
just want to make
coming
sure.
out. Yeah, no,
am I
you're
sounding
good.
Okay, good.
Happy Death Day's coming out, though.
And-
On Friday the 13th.
Why didn't they like it? That's terrible.
That's too bad.
Well, you know,
I mean, I'm just thinking as an actor, you get all fired up, you know, you do the work, and then they, after the fact?
I don't know how far into production they had
Oh,
gotten.
okay. Like,
I
they're
don't
not
think the
maybe
movie's
done.
done. No, it got actually pulled like back in February, something like that.
Oh,
It was supposed to come out it was supposed to come out in January, so maybe it is done. Maybe they had some edits to do and then they didn't like it. Because some of those Friday the 13th movies, which I kind of like the schlocky factor, some of them are so bad that well, they're almost so bad they're good. But anyways, we have a lot to go over tonight. Here, let me tell you what we're going to be talking about tonight. First of all, we have some news of the week that we're going to be going over. We are going to definitely find out what's going on in the life of our very special guest, Naomi, tonight. Naomi, so great to have you on tonight.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I know, it's just such an honor to have you on. I've loved American Horror Story. I loved your performance on American Horror Story. When I first saw you, I was like, who the heck is this? This is not Pepper. There's no way this is Pepper. That's just... Anyways, had her over for a Super Bowl party at my house. And,
True that.
And it was a
Birthday party.
It was a birthday
I
party
like
for
to
you.
call it.
It
Yeah.
was just so happened to have a football game on in the background.
Yes, yeah, that silly little
I
thing.
think here we have a
So
comparison photo.
So
Yeah.
I think we do have a picture of.
Wow.
Look at that. That is just.
The wonders they
So
do with
there's-
makeup.
Yeah, how many prosthetic pieces are going on here?
That's a prosthetic nose, brow, 2 ears, arms, obviously fake teeth, a wacky lens. They shaved my head. In that particular season, that was my real hair, that little pigtail.
wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Which season was that?
What's that?
Which season was that?
So that's season 2. That's when Pepper
Asylum.
goes pee. That's that very moment when she says, Pepper pee. Yeah, so they gave me a wig for that season. Mostly because I was just, I was having to keep it a secret. And it was very hard for me to go through the rest of my life. I basically had this super conservative little bob my whole life. And then for me to just suddenly, for no apparent reason, just have this Hare Krishna haircut for no reason, you know what I mean? Like, how was I supposed to justify that otherwise? So,
Sudden religious change.
right. Although for Freak Show, they actually shaved my head completely and actually gave me a piece each day,
okay.
which I really appreciated. It's a hard look to rock, especially in July in New Orleans. Like, there's just no point. Like, you don't want a single article of clothing on your,
Wait, so you filmed, which season was filmed in New Orleans?
3 and 4.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. So, anyway, I think it was just out of sort of a courtesy to me. My hubby was an actual bald man, and so it's like kind of not fair for him to be able to go through his life normally and me very abnormally.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit about how did you get the part for on American Horror Story?
It was an audition like any other.
I was about to say, I just opened myself up to the answer being, I auditioned.
No, that could have been one of those referrals. You had heard something, like.
Nope.
Okay.
It was just, my agent called, you got an audition tomorrow. I had never seen the show, so I asked a friend who, watches a lot of TV, like, what's this about? And, of course, he filled me in, which did not help at all, because, of course, it's a new season, new show every season. But at least I got kind of an idea of the tone of the show. And it was a 2-parter. They had me basically do a little improv. They gave me a ball, and they tried to get me to play with them. And the idea is that they said, as if you were, say, a 4-year-old. So there was never any mention of, microcephalia or pinhead or anything like that. And it's just because it's such a secretive show. You know what I mean? The minute they put that out there, every agent and manager in Hollywood knows, oh, jig is up. We know what, AHS is doing this year. So, so they had me do that. And then they also had me do a monologue of Jessica Lange's from season 1, which was kind of, again, weird, because I was like,
It's
it's
not even
definitely
a similar character.
not even close. But, I mean, when you think about it, it's clear they were obviously trying to see, whether I had range, that I could go from, the early playful Pepper to the late evolved alien abducted Pepper. So.
Now, it's been a little while since I watched the 2 seasons, but Pepper, the show every season is a bit different and the characters rearranged, but your character kind of stays the same though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so is Pepper the only one that stays, like, exactly, kind of?
Well, I was the first.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, everybody seems to
returning
shuffle.
character.
Okay, yeah.
But since then, there've been a few more
okay.
that I think are indeed supposed to be the same person.
Okay.
It's funny. I remember one time when I was coming back for Freak Show. I want to say it was like the day I was getting my head reshaven.
Yeah.
And shaved. Meh. I'm a pinhead. I'm sleep deprived. And I remember seeing Ryan Murphy in the trailer, and he said, "So, are you Pepper or?" And I was like, "Dude, you tell me." Like, but let's definitely decide because they've got some shears, and I'd like to know before. But it's really interesting. I think. What do I know? I'm a pinhead, and an actor no less. We really know nothing, but. I think they might have been a little concerned about bringing a character back at first, only because it's a mini series, and does that make us no longer a mini series? You know what I mean? I mean, they like their Emmy awards.
Oh, yeah.
And
But
why
that
wouldn't you?
character arc is so interesting when we learn like that backstory of how the stories are connected.
Right.
Did you know that later? Or at what point did you know your character was you know that kind of a backstory, and how did that?
I didn't know it until 12 hours before we shot it.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I wondered, you know, the whole time I was there on set for that fourth season, thinking, what, you know, there's got to be a reason for me here. You know what I mean? They didn't just transplant me, break all their own rules, you know, bring me on for a whole nother season, only to play with string in the corner or
Right.
deliver the fat lady food. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I knew I mean, Ryan Murphy's a genius. Like, so there had to be something up his sleeve, and obviously there was, but they didn't tell me. No.
That's
It was pretty
exciting,
deep,
though.
though.
In fact, I
Yeah.
didn't know. Like, I didn't know that Salty was my husband until that episode, that 10th
wow.
episode. So the whole time when I read it, I was like, like. I probably would have maybe played that differently. I mean, fortunately, they totally justified it. Like the writers, I mean, I think they even made a line, something to the tune of, you know, their love transcended sex, which is true because there was definitely none of that. But yeah, I mean, you know, I thought he was my twin. So, but hey, like I said, they didn't just throw me under the bus either. So
Right.
appreciate that.
What's it like? I would love to know what it's like working with Ryan Murphy. He just seems like this creative fount of just so much energy. you
Yeah,
know?
I feel like he sees things that the naked eye doesn't. You know what I mean? Like I remember like seeing him in Video Village, which is the little area of set where they're watching the monitors.
It's where all the monitors are
Right.
when you're on set. Yeah.
And he's like, we need more wind. We need, and I'm like, what? Like, Jessica Lange is acting her butt off. She's winning an Emmy before our eyes, and that's what you're looking at. Like but that's what makes him such a genius. That he sees things like lack of wind, and adds wind.
That's awesome. Derek, you have a little bit of connection, don't you?
Oh yeah, Naomi and I go way back. We've got a special bond as former castmates. No, I was back when I was new to LA and was doing background gigs whenever I could get them. One of my really fun ones was in season 2 of American Horror Story, Asylum, where I was in.
I'm sure you're.
So I was in the flashback scene where you're finding out the origins of the killer Bloody Face, and I'm one of the other med students who's laughing at him. So I helped create a serial killer. You're welcome. Yeah.
Seriously, wow, cool.
Well, we've got to ask though. Is there any way that Pepper would be back?
Again, I am the last
They don't
person.
tell you
I
anything,
don't
do they?
know. I mean, I love it. I'm not like partial to having hair.
Bring back Pepper. Let's start the campaign.
I mean, I personally, I don't see it happening only because they've been there, done that, and that's their whole thing. They like to kind of keep us on our toes and not repeat themselves. And I think that's the one thing that we can always count on from American Horror Story is every season. They're constantly surprising us. So.
So if they brought you back to play a different character, is there any kind of character you'd be excited to play?
Well,
they
if
just
that's
might do
the
that. That would be
case,
cool.
I would
Yeah.
like to have hair if I could. So a
That'd be
hairy
nice.
character.
Yeah.
A very hairy clown.
Oh, they like their clowns over there. That's for
So
sure.
what other stuff are you working on now? Is there anything you can tell us
Well,
about,
actually,
or can we jump to that yet?
we're going to jump into the movie section a little bit because I know you've been working on quite a few films that
Yeah.
we would
right.
love to talk about. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
there.
okay. It's okay.
Trying to keep our sections sectioned. But anyways, what about television projects? Anything else coming up for you in TV?
No.
Oh,
Get on Twitter.
all right, come on,
Let
guys.
them know.
Well, she's got a ton of film projects.
Tweet at
she's been
Ryan
working
Murphy.
on.
Tell him to cast her in American Horror Story again.
I mean, it is how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, don't say I said so, but I mean, that's why I came back for season 4. Is that we shoot about, or at least at the time, about 5 episodes ahead of the viewing public. So when I went pee, everybody was like, well, where did Pepper go? And we hadn't even shot my return by the time I left
Oh wow.
Yeah. So people were asking me, what happened? Did you fall in? And I legitimately did not know. I thought maybe I'd, sucked and, they'd written me off. Or who knows? So, when I think, they're writing it as they go. Like, we don't know how the show's gonna end. Like, I remember in Freak Show, after I left, I was texting my freak friends, like, so what happened? Like, who's alive? Who's dead?
Yeah.
What's going on? And
those shows seem to be like each of those seasons, it seems like either the episode before the final episode or 2 episodes in, you feel like he's ended the season. Then all of a sudden, it goes in like a brand new direction. It seems like it happens every year. It doesn't feel like an ending, and then all of a sudden he goes into another direction, and it's kind of interesting the way he does that.
I have to rewatch.
Okay, you've had to have noticed that. Like, remember, like, first season with the haunted house?
Yeah.
Where they actually finished everything, and then they had this final episode, which was the nice Christmas get-together.
Well, but it was the reveal. Oh, there.
That was
Yeah.
As sweet as a Charlie Brown Christmas. Just about.
Well, then Asylum, if I remember correctly, the very last episode was all set like 30 or 40 years
Yes,
after.
it was the
yeah.
reporter, Sarah Paulson. She was doing a book signing, remember?
yeah,
And he came back later.
Right.
It was like a whole different story. And then it was very cool the way they did that. And same thing with Roanoke last
Wait,
year.
I was gonna say I haven't finished that one.
Don't
yet.
don't talk about it. Okay.
We got some questions from some viewers.
Yay.
Oh, really?
So we have a Mr. Brad who you may or may not know, wanting to know about you singing the singing episode with Jessica Lange, what that was like. And,
Oh,
What was the name of the song?
they sang the
The
Banana
Name
Fana
Game.
song.
No,
yeah,
the name game.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite days of my life. Just cause I got to just let my freak flag fly, like truly. I remember once the second AD or whatever came over, one of those bullhorns, because there were so many of us. And although I could only see half of them because I had that fake lens, I remember at one point my eye was so tired they took it out, and I was like, "Wow, there's a ton of people in here." But yeah, I remember she shouted out, "Everyone can go bigger except Pepper," which is hilarious. Like, that's so me. Like, I'm always kind of just like going balls to the wall, and this was the one chance where I could go there.
Yeah, that's
great, yeah.
Nobody was telling me to, take
It's
it down
probably
a
great
notch.
to hear a direction like that
Yeah.
too.
You're
So
like,
everybody
"Oh,
else
I'm
needs
there."
to fix this,
Yeah.
but except you. You're
Do
doing
what
it right.
she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Actually, speaking of that, like, your character has so much crazy physicality. How fun was that for you? And then did you do anything specific to get in that mode? And then also you
Yeah.
can't really talk too, so
Right.
you know.
No, that's my jam. Like, if I were to get to do another character, I joke I'd like to be Harry. That's my thing, is really physical character. I really just sort of I studied Schlitzie, the character that, of course, the real live microcephalic that Pepper was modeled after, and I just kind of took that on. It was exhausting. Like,
Sure.
I have to
Get a
do some
massage and
yoga
chiropractor.
to get back
Yeah.
to normal. But I can't remember what the rest of your question was. But
I don't know if you approach it any differently in terms of an actor, because
yeah, I think I kind of go from the outside in. Like, I get the physicality, and then I think about, like, okay, so if I look and feel like this, like, what's the inner, what's the inside going on? Like, there's a reason for it all. Like, it all, it's all connected.
Sure.
So
Nice.
Well, that's awesome. I love hearing about American Horror Story. As a non-actor, hearing about how actors get ready for such crazy parts is always so interesting to me to see a world into that. We are going to actually jump into something else, and then we're going to come back and talk about films in just a little bit. But Derek, we have a lot of horror conventions that are coming up. And then Naomi, you have some appearances that I would love to hear more about as well. So
Okay.
Derek, you can go ahead.
Okay, so let's go through the bulletin board really quickly. On October 20th and 22nd in Evans City, Pennsylvania, there's the Living Dead weekend, which I'm sure is zombie themed.
Yep, it is.
And that same weekend in Long Beach, California, the Long Beach Zombie Fest and
People love their
Horror
zombies.
Fest. And then in October 27th through 29th in Orlando, the largest horror convention in the U.S., Spooky Empire.
I've been to that one.
Have you really?
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, they do that twice a year in May.
Yeah,
and
you're
then,
Okay. And then that same weekend, October 27th through 29th, Chattanooga is HalloCon. And then again, October 27th through 29th in Atlanta is Walker Stalker Con, which usually there's a big Walking Dead presence there.
Right.
Yes.
It's mainly Walking
Yeah.
Dead. It's mainly The Walking Dead, yeah. And so that's a big one that is happening in October.
All right, and then again, October 27th through 29th in San Jose, the famous Monsters of Filmland Bash.
Right.
Now that sounds like my kind of horror convention. If it's famous
classic-
Monsters of Filmland,
It is.
the
It's
classic
going to be great.
monsters.
It's all the classic Universal monsters, the new monsters. It's got a lot of stuff going on. And those guys, it sounds like if I was in town for that, I would. Oh, I am in town now. I was supposed to be out of town then, but we'll see. We'll see what happens then.
See,
That's
maybe
also
maybe that'd be a good weekend to go visit my in-laws or something.
That's also Stanley's LA Comic Con. So
Oh,
it's
that's right.
Oh, it's hard to get out of town that week. No, but you have some other conventions that you're going to be
I
hitting up.
do. So are these just what's happening in October?
Well, this is yours go out beyond that, and we'd love to hear those.
I was gonna say, I think
We're going to
Yeah.
start talking about beyond October. We're trying to get everybody excited for Halloween. So
Okay,
we're
that
kind of
makes
leading up to Halloween. But you have some things
so.
that you were
Yeah,
telling
I
us
think
about.
the weekend after that's November 4th and 5th. I'm at Contamination in St.
Louis.
And then
I think you said you're at Tallahassee
yeah,
Comic-Con on
that's
December.
like the first weekend of December.
Right.
And actually, that happens to be the same weekend that film, a movie I just did, the accidental zombie named Ted.
What you call it? Is that the
Maybe that's just a working title because I can't seem to say it.
You described it earlier as a zombie. Wait,
A zombie.
a zombie.
Yeah.
Somebody? Nice.
But yeah, that's gonna premiere that same weekend in Florida,
Oh, that's
where close to Tallahassee. So that's
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
And then you're
Kill two
flying
birds.
out of the country for a real cool one.
Yeah, I've got it's called In the Nightmare, and it's in Paris. It's a AHS specific Comic-Con.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is really cool. Because Walking Dead has theirs, and so
Hey,
AHS
North
should
Story
do
by
that.
now should have theirs for sure.
yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. And speaking of events, last weekend Carrie was the best host I've ever had in a haunted attraction.
Bowing, but I can't
Bow.
Yeah, I'm like,
And we have some cool pictures. We've been having a few technical difficulties tonight. I think Mr. Producer has gotten it all straightened up, but. Awesome. Well, this very first picture. So, Carrie, we went to Not Scary Farm with Carrie, myself, and Cheeseman, and we had the best time ever. One of the best experiences ever in a haunted attraction.
We
Can you-
also dressed up like Eli Roth and Marilyn Manson
Yeah,
when we went
no.
there.
That's I'm Marilyn Manson.
This is a 2010. I worked at Not Scary Farm 2008, 9,
That
and
is
10.
Carrie, by the way.
That's me as the vampire. It was so much fun, and Eli Roth and Marilyn Manson walked through the maze and got an awesome photo with them.
I think it's the most
And
awesome thing ever.
It was so cool, and it was. I mean, working there, I had worked at Not Scary Farm for 3 years, and I've attended every single year since 2004, except for the years I worked there. So I know the park very well, and I've gone other times. So that's why I would say I'm an excellent guide of where to go.
Oh, it was so great.
And
Yeah.
plan. I'm like, we did all the mazes, we saw all the shows.
She did not pay for
It was
parking.
so fun,
Even
and I
had
didn't
time
pay
for
parking.
rides.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
You guys
Yeah.
at the end,
At the end, we did some rides, and I was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't usually happen when I do haunted
Took you
attractions.
places you didn't know there were in the park, like the underneath the bridge,
Oh, that was,
the railway
that was
thing.
one of the creepiest parts of the thing, though. So let's talk a little bit about what we did that night. We
We have some, we have more photos.
do
from
have
there.
some cool photos. If we
There
have
we
a few.
are.
There's the beginning of the night when there was
There's
still
our good
sunlight,
Group. Yay.
and that was
Good
before
times.
we. Now, what was the
Oh,
first?
Elvira's show. Here we go. That was. I thought it was really good this year.
And I think this is her final show, right?
That's what you were saying.
Which is
I
very
have-
sad.
Well, at Not Scary Farm. She's
Oh,
been
okay.
doing it at Not Scary Farm for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, and having attended for so many years, they did a really cool thing where they had the dancers on the end, and they did water from the ceiling on them, which is kind of a throwback to a show. I don't know how many years ago, but that was so cool. I'm like, oh, they brought it back.
That's the first time I've ever seen her perform. I used to watch her
She's still amazing too.
horror hosting,
So
which I
good.
loved when she was a horror host, and then this show she was so freaking good.
So funny
Yeah.
and just still amazing dancer.
And there,
Yeah, she's
singing.
still at the
I just thought that
moves.
was an awesome shot that you took there of the
Oh, yes.
giant pumpkins.
I love the decorations there.
Yeah.
It's just super fun. So
And-
this is that's actually where the hanging used to be. The hangings moved over
Way
to
up
the
there?
side. No, they used to have a stage where those pumpkins are.
Oh wow!
That used to be like a stage area, but they moved the hanging just a little bit to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of courtyard, but I think it's maybe just a better traffic flow / area. Yeah, it'd be better traffic flow
Yeah.
having people over there.
The hangings there could definitely teach Halloween Horror Nights a lesson because
I
they
tell you
stopped the
what.
Bill and Ted thing, but it had the same kind of vibe.
This was this, and are there? Do we have any more pictures, or was that the? Oh, okay. All right.
We'll
So
have
sad.
to
I thought
tweet
it-
some more.
We have a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
Carrie has a
Hanging was
lot.
really good this year. So the Hanging, if you guys aren't familiar, it's a pop culture show where they hang a generally somebody of recent pop culture, and it's like Wild West theme, and it's the people of Calico, and there's a sheriff and everything, and they just make fun of things that have happened throughout the year, seriously, and
Who's hung? I'm
comedic.
curious.
Well,
Did you know who it was?
I've got
too?
a couple folks.
Well,
in
yeah,
mind.
I had to
be
explain
explo-
to my friend.
You had
though.
explained to me who it was as
I had
well.
to explain to
It's
Laura,
usually
yeah.
like the most irritating,
like
frustrating
stupidest thing over the year.
of the year, and because of Secret Service, it could not be a political figure. Just throw that out there.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they don't do that.
They
It's
probably
generally
would have done
like
that last year
it's
anyway.
like one year it was like Pikachu, or like it's just things that are kind of like dumb throughout the year. And actually, the thing I really appreciate about this year is they really kind of touched upon of like how dumb pop culture has kind of
Yep.
been, and it's all about like just wanting attention and like our obsession with the media. And I was like, oh, you guys like really, they do a really good job of
I loved
changing
it.
it up to current events as well too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And we probably shouldn't give away who it was.
No, I don't wanna give it away
Okay, because
yet.
that'll ruin it for
We'll
people.
tell you after.
I
We'll tell you
get it.
afterwards.
Okay.
But it was really good. And the reason Luke was, what were you talking about? It could teach Bill and Ted a thing.
Well, they stopped doing that here. They just do the.
Oh, they're equally
Jabberwockies.
offensive too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, Bill
So,
and Ted.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this one was almost more offensive.
Yeah.
But they still were ballsy enough
A lot
to
of
keep doing
punching
it.
each other
I mean, it
and
was just like,
Blood splatter.
Oh, it's a stunt show too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's not just like making fun of pop culture. There's like stunts, and they're really good too.
Yeah.
And like,
Fun
for those
show.
who don't know, Halloween Horror Nights here in California stopped doing their Bill and Ted show. I think 2 or 3 years
I
ago.
love that show. That was a good show too.
And we are traveling
First
to.
they got too drunk, and then they got too offended.
Yeah.
All the fun's taken.
And then,
away.
so we're going to Orlando, and we're going to see the final production of Bill and
Oh,
Ted
wow.
this year. So it's stopping in Orlando as well. So,
So they're gonna offend everybody, especially since it's the last
Oh, it's
night.
the
I'm
last
sure they're
one?
just
Like-
gonna.
and by the way, we're seeing it on the final night that
Oh,
they ever,
perfect.
and the final
Yeah.
performance they ever do. So we're going like in November actually, because
cool.
the hurricanes bumped our trip a little bit, so we had to move our trip back a little
Well,
bit.
some of the horror theme parks continue into like November, and it's also kind of Day of the Dead timing, so it
Yeah.
works. Sure.
So Carrie,
take
what
my
was?
extra time.
So Carrie, if you can walk us through some of the attractions that we did, and Luke, you
Oh,
jump in and
yes,
tell me what you thought about them.
That was the other thing. This year, the mazes are really good.
I was really impressed.
A thing that's great is anybody who's returning, they've changed up a little, some of them a little bit. Like Trick or Treat's actually in the dark, and you get a flashlight that does stuff. So
That was amazing.
cool.
That
That
was-
was probably my
Yeah.
favorite concept they've ever done because it kind of made you feel like you're part of it and picking where your eyes would
Yeah,
go
exactly.
and everything. So
I
I
felt
did
like
the thing
Fox
that people
Mulder.
hate, where I kind of tried to get purposely lost. So I'm just like in the dark with a flashlight and got the real full experience. And that even like would flicker on and off.
There were
Yeah.
parts where
Stuff
they
like
would
that, too.
control your flashlight and it would start going off and you're left in the dark.
Yep.
And it was
Oh my.
It was great. It was a great experience.
So it was a great way to to reinvent a maze, which it's generally the same walkthrough, but how you experience it is completely different. The Voodoo maze, completely redesigned. Love the new design. You're really fully immersed in it. Before
Jim
they
got lost.
Yeah.
I did.
Hey, come
True
back
that.
here.
I mean, there was this one section where it kind of split off, and I went down there, and then the maze monster guy, the voodoo guy, he had to come running down
Did
there.
you keep
You're
running
going the wrong
away?
way. Yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
what? Actually, funny story.
I
Was
start
that.
running. You. What do you expect?
No,
a maze
you're-
monster is
it's-
chasing you.
He
You don't
chased-
know you're
chased
supposed
you
to
back in the
stop
right
and
place.
talk to him.
I have
Well,
seen that happen when I worked at Not Scary Farm. There was a guy who he's super tall and he had his own mask that looked so good, like pretty much looked like he skinned his face, and it was like fitted. Like it's not like a cheap one; it's a really nice one. Because some of the monsters do; they get their own things. So he scared a girl in our maze. And it was Club Blood, if anybody remembers that one. Woohoo! She scared this girl. She ran and hit a wall and fell over. And then he like goes down to lean over and like, do you need help? But you can't like talk through the mask. So he's like, do you need help? And she's like, ah! So at that time I was a blackout, which is the people like making sure you're going the right way. He came over and he's like, there's a girl who needs help. Can you come over here? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
but that
So
one
it
was-
does happen.
I loved it. What about the shoot 'em up?
The zombie maze was good this year too. It's like infected. Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Wait.
I'm looking at
Special Ops
and
Infected.
Special Ops
Thank you.
Infected, yes.
That one's really kind of cool because they give you a gun and you're running through. It's the only maze where you get to like run, kind of. And I do this
The
in air
zombie
quotes
have,
for people
like,
listening.
collars on.
That light
Yeah, it
up like
was
you've
so
shot
cool.
them
You
or
shoot 'em.
not.
Wow.
And it's like a laser pointer kind of gun. And
Buzz Lightyear, but with dead people.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued.
And I guess you can die too, suppose, or the gun
Kind
can
of.
say you can have
Well,
bites or
it's
whatever.
unlimited ammo now. They used
Yeah.
to do it where it wasn't unlimited, which sucked. Because I remember one
really
year I
sucked.
did it, and I'm like, I'm out. I can't do anything. But they changed it. It's now unlimited ammo. But you can start dying, like if
Yeah.
they get too close to you.
I think I killed like 12 or more. Or...
But those zombies, like those actors are doing an amazing job. Like, because there's some that don't have the collars, but they would fully react. Like you
shoot them,
shot
they,
'em.
and they
and
go
they
down.
jumped back.
It was
Oh, so
awesome.
good.
Yeah, so cool.
And then, what was one of your favorite mazes?
Well, we pretty much already said my two favorite, but I feel like this is the future of what they could be because it kind of puts you more in it, not just like, okay.
It's nice to
they're
have the
scaring out,
variety.
but you feel like you're more active or like in the movie, kind of,
Yeah.
or not in the movie, but like in the horror moment or whatever. So like with the flashlight or
Yep.
with the gun, those are my favorite because I haven't experienced anything like that, and it was something new. And
I've
I
never
feel like
experienced it, yeah.
Other places like Halloween Horror Nights may try stuff like that maybe eventually.
Well, someone else is already trying the flashlight. A friend of mine, Jose, if you're out there, he went to Six Flags Fright Fest this past weekend, and they're doing something similar with their
cool.
a flashlight maze where it takes you through and they go out a little bit. So maybe it's the new thing.
I'm blanking the name on the pumpkin one. There's a pumpkin
Pumpkin
one.
Eater.
That one right by the beginning, really good.
Loved
It's
it.
also great new design. That's
I
a
love
brand new
pumpkins. It's my
maze.
favorite part of Halloween.
And Dark Ride was really good too. I like that. That was
Oh, yeah.
the middle. And I do suggest generally go all the way to the back and work your way forward, or go all the way to the left because there's like 5 mazes on the left-hand side. So once you get those all done, then you can.
Carrie was really good. Like you said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go this way. Go there. We'll take a break here for bathrooms, and we go this way. I mean,
yeah.
and
And
we
you'll
did
even
it.
have time for a beer.
Yeah.
And to see both shows. I love the
Yeah.
shows.
We saw both the
so-
shows.
Both shows, yeah.
The Hanging
All the way
and
through.
Elvira.
Yeah.
And Grant, it was kind of cool because we got in and Elvira started like, it's almost like they were holding the show for us. 10 seconds after we sat down, ta-da! It started.
Oh yeah, that one they start on time. That is a slight warning. Don't show up late. We had some friends who couldn't make it in because if you're like, they shut the doors.
And they had some cool the scare zones as well. The ghost town streets with the really
The
foggy
fog. I
section.
took you
back
guys through
there.
that. I'm like, we're gonna make a loop-de-loop just so you can walk through the fog.
That was great. That was great. The Hollow. They also had the Hollow. They had Carn Evil with all the crazy. That one was
clowns?
the clowns. The
Yes.
clowns were scary. That section was my least scary part because it was so wide open.
that's-
It's hard to cover all that ground.
Those people are probably the hardest ones who work there because there's no cover, there's no fog,
Nope.
and it's well lit. It was a little darker this year, which is good, but it's just this open expanse like boardwalk area. And so there's nowhere for them to like peek out at you. So they did a great job. And the Camp Snoopy area is a scare zone again. That one, that's where the shooting used to be. The
Okay.
shooting maze used to be over there, the zombie one. But now it's a scare zone again, and it's kind of like this mythical witch hunt thing, which I like that. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
but the zombie sliding people.
Just sliders.
The sliders. It was cool when you saw them over in the ghost town area with all this fog because they would start sliding and you would see the sparks sparking off their knee pads as they're sliding. I got some video of
You're
that.
like
That
my
was really
favorite.
cool. Okay, so
Starting November 18th, you can visit Knott's Merry Farm, which is what I like because it's Christmas and it's happy and comforting and safe.
all right, so back to horror. Back to
Still
horror.
scary.
Anyway,
it's on the
moving
way.
on.
So, anyways, if you have not yet gone to Knott's Scary Farm, go to it. It is.
Oh, actually, quick recommendation as well. Go on, the actual park opens at like 7, but if you go at about 6:30, new thing, they have security metal detectors now, so just allow a little bit of extra time for that instead of checking you right before the gate.
And don't take a pocket knife.
Well, that's probably a thing, but some people, yeah. But no, they used to have it before where the ticket booths are, and then they would wand you there. So they've moved the metal detectors further back, which is kind of nice because it's less congestion. But we got in at about like 6:15, and there was like nobody. They'll let you in, but they have a rope up. But it's nice because you could get like right to the front and go right through a maze, like the pumpkin maze. So anyway, get there at about like 6:30 to really be early at the front of a group.
You're like a horror. You're like a cruise director for.
She is.
My friend,
It's like I'm like what? Like I'm not this organized about anything. Like
my friends were like, it's horror Siri.
yeah.
Siri.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
We
Right.
just followed her
Yeah.
around. We crashed her
We have-
time there.
We have two
All right,
things we
go
need to
for
hit.
it.
We're
Yes.
going to close out on the horror movies, but before we
Yes.
do the horror movies, because there is something that every time a person is first time on our show. Carrie, you let me forget so almost tonight. I'm kidding. You know when did it start for you?
I did it.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's my fault. You usually
It's okay.
remind me. I'm really bad at remembering these things.
No, she's our new person.
You are our new person tonight, so we always ask, when did it start for you? When did your love of horror movies? Because you have become known as, you're kind of like a modern scream queen in a way, so which is kind of great.
Speaking of Ryan Murphy.
My love of horror movies started when they started loving me.
That's a good
I'll be
answer.
honest, which wasn't that long ago, really. I mean, I've just really been into storytelling. So, I was a, theater major in college and kind of, I studied Chekhov and Ibsen and like real, drama. And when I first moved to Los Angeles, I just figured, this business is so hard. Like I should find my niche, you got to get a gimmick. So I really kind of threw myself into the comedy scene, actually, which in a way they're kind of parallel. You know what I mean? Like, let's face it, Pepper, if you take her just a little bit over, she's kind of hilarious. You know what I mean? There's like a very a delicate dance between funny and
Horror
drama
comedy
for
is a
that
whole
matter.
genre too.
Right, but I do think that comedy and horror both really celebrate these kind of over-the-top characters. So it's...
Did Freddie inspire you? Because he's got a perfect mix of comedy.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
scariness.
that's a perfect example, actually. So I think that it's kind of like no wonder. Like, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think the American Horror Story casting office, deserves some props because,
Oh, heck, they do.
They
True.
went
Yeah.
out of the box, when they
yeah.
thought of me. But it makes total sense. Like, obviously you're not going to cast like a Kathy Bates in the role of Pepper. Like, if you're paying a premium for her, you're not going to cover that with prosthetics. They needed kind of a no-name at the time, and yet, someone with an improv background who's willing to kind of really go there,
Yep.
like a comedian.
Because it was kind of really a physical role, wasn't it?
Yeah. But so consequently, I honestly wasn't into horror per se. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't go to plenty of slumber parties and watch Freddy Krueger in my day, but I didn't really seek that. Like I sought good acting and hilarious stories and just good storytelling. And, and it just so happens that American Horror Story is all that.
It is all that. We're going to hear about your movies in just one second, but right before we do, Cheeseman on the couch, you have a video that you would like to share a little bit with us. And
Locations?
the locations
Okay.
video, not the Scare Jim video.
Come
this
on, we
week.
went Scare Jim,
No.
the whole show of that.
So, Anthony, we're going to just kind of show just a couple of minutes of this while he talks about
we'll just
what's
kinda talk
going
over
on
it,
here.
but
We've been having ghosts in the Gremlins. Oh, here you go. Start talking about what we're seeing here.
So yeah, me and Jim here went around to just different locations,
fun.
filming the spots where some of the iconic locations, put the address there for people, and also kind of showing the clips of the movie, and then kind of transitioning and creating our own.
We
with
went and found Michael Myers, and
I'm
we
Michael
asked him
Myers,
to
and then
give us a
he's
tour of his
filming.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so, he reluctantly, he
And then,
said,
did you ask him to talk like Shrek after that?
yeah, he did not talk like
Okay.
Shrek like that. He was all confused. And anyways, so
I still think I
he
should
was a
have
real
knife,
cut
but
up.
he was afraid someone would probably shoot me if I'm walking around with a knife in a neighborhood.
Well,
It's a fake knife, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be
fair
creepy
enough.
if someone's carrying a weapon.
especially at nighttime. Okay, there's a part of this, and we'll see if we get to it. Look, you start approaching people like this, and
That is the best place to go. This is Lori's
we met the
house.
owners of the house this past
They're
weekend.
very
Oh, wow.
friendly, where they even have pumpkins on their porch, and they encourage people to go out and sit where she did and
By
take
the way,
pictures.
we're talking about the 1978 movie Halloween. For those of you who
Yeah.
are listening, we are going through a couple of scenes here of actual locations, what it used to look like in the film and what it looks like today. So we went ahead and went through 7 or 8 different locations, and
Which could be on the new Halloween, because they're going to pick up from the first one we just found out recently.
Right.
So, yeah, this is the school scene right here.
yeah, the
where
elementary
little
school.
Tommy
Yeah, we don't
His
have a little
friend is
boy. We
grabbed.
decided not to get a little boy to sit around
it's
there.
probably
It's like
good that you
seeing
didn't,
those
grab a
photos,
random
of
child.
then and now
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. So yeah.
And then there's his scary car that usually needs to be washed, but it's.
And
But
towards the end, I don't know if we'll quite get there, but they changed they moved the Myers house from its original location, but it
Right.
still has the same look. But
most of this was shot in South Pasadena. There were a couple of scenes that were shot over in Hollywood, the actual house where he committed the murders. I don't think we're like giving any spoilers away to say, yeah, he killed a bunch of teenagers who were babysitting. Oh, I know.
Oh, is
crazy.
that what happens in that movie?
Oh no! Look, hey, so here's
yeah, this was
for
in
those
the
of you who are
dark,
watching.
though, so
This is the house then, and this is what it looks like now. They've really built it up. And this is the scene I was really afraid of for Luke, because I'm like,
yeah,
you're
neighbors were looking out the windows,
creeping
turning off
around someone's
lights.
house at nighttime.
I'm just like out there staring at
They
the
must
windows.
know that people are gonna do that.
They do.
though.
They do. And what's crazy is the house, like in South
Look at that,
Pasadena.
two of me.
There's-
How did I do that?
It's movie
Movie
magic.
magic.
Movie
Yeah.
magic. So yeah, here's the original house there.
And so we are kind of this is cool. We'll go to the end of it. So if you guys haven't been to South Pasadena, that's where they have most of the locations.
that, and then right before this was the Hollywood locations, and there are more locations we didn't show. We just kind of stuck with kind of 7 of the main ones for
Right.
this. But
These
there's
are
the
the cool
hardware
ones.
store, the establishing shot of the neighborhood,
Yeah.
the grave site.
That's
where,
what it looks like now. It sits right in front of a train track. And if you go out this coming next couple of weekends, they are having a special Michael Myers photography and art exhibit. Kim
Yeah.
Gottlieb, who was the on-set photographer for Michael Myers, her artwork is being shown right behind the Michael Myers
Oh,
house
that's
right
cool.
Yeah,
really-
and other art and things as well. And
Yep.
they show movies and all that on the weekends.
Yep.
So
Yep.
real nice, friendly people there.
now. So we had
Very
a lot
cool.
of fun doing that. And that was basically just because we're horror movie buffs. And my favorite horror movie of all time is...
it's Nike the movie.
I'm wearing the shirt right now. Is Michael Myers Just Do It. I'm not advocating bad things, but basketball. Michael Myers just plays some
Yeah.
basketball. So there is Michael finishing it out. So anyways, so we would love for
But
you guys.
you would probably beat Michael Jordan though,
Michael Myers versus
If
Michael Jordan. Ooh,
Michael
that's what we
Jordan.
should have done in our
Yeah.
matchup this week.
just because your shirt. Yeah.
So anyways, so that we encourage you to go check that out. Check out these movie sites, and again, the one where Jamie Lee Curtis sits on the front porch with the pumpkin. The owners of the house have put a bunch of pumpkins out, and they encourage you to come up to their porch, grab a
cool.
pumpkin,
That is
and
cool.
they even this past weekend were sitting out on the porch giving out candy and saying Happy Halloween to people as they.
Aw.
And we asked them, we said, "So did you know that this was the house?" And they said, "No, we had no idea. Were you
Oh
fans?"
wow.
They said we weren't really fans, but now we are. Now the guy.
Yeah, you can either be the cranky people or be the people that embrace it, and they chose
Yeah,
to.
they
be the
embraced
ones that
it.
Yes,
embraced
that's
it
good.
and everything. And then if you look next door, we didn't put that on the video either, but the neighbor has a mannequin of Michael Myers in the window looking at Laurie's house. So if you go there too, especially at night, it's really creepy because you'll see like a full-size Michael Myers just staring out the window at you.
And if you're down
Awesome.
in Hollywood at the Michael Myers house, one street over is the Freddy Krueger house.
Yeah,
And
you
it-
have to cross the street, kind of.
Kitty corner, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
but
put
they're
the
fairly
address
close
up.
together.
Still has the
and
red
all
door,
that,
right?
yeah.
Or did they change the color of the door?
I think it was. We went at night though, but
And
but
across
yeah.
the street from the Freddy Krueger house, you know where Johnny Depp dies? You see up in the window. Last year they put the silhouette of Freddy Krueger up there, killing. So it's these people are really having a lot of fun with their
Sure.
movie set locations. And American Horror Story filmed in the Michael Myers babysitting
and
killer.
Tommy Doyle's house.
Tommy Doyle's house this
Yeah.
year. Ryan Murphy was over there, so it's kind of cool. Anyways, Luke, good job on that video. It's
And good job filming. I was Michael. And don't go alone, because then people are going to be like, "Is this person crazy?" But at least if you have someone filming you, or you're in a group. Then
Full disclosure, if you
they'll
do
know
go to these
you're not-
houses to look, do not bother people. Don't drive them crazy. Try to go in the daylight. Don't be idiots like us and go in the middle of the night when all the lights come on and people are like
Don't go
staring.
up on their porch unless it's the Laurie Strode house, because they have the pumpkins on the porch.
And
But
then still be
everywhere else-
polite.
But,
So-
and
Yes.
be polite.
Speaking
Yeah.
of
and
movies,
don't steal the pumpkins, because that did happen once.
Oh.
Yeah, they
We
can,
learned from Trick or Treat: don't steal or destroy the pumpkins. Sam will get you.
especially at the Michael
Yep.
Myers house. He's gonna get you. So speaking of Michael Myers, my favorite all-time movie villain, horror movie villain. My favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween. I hear it's coming back out in theaters this year. But Derek, you provided us with a list of films, a viewing
Yeah.
list. Since this is October, and Derek is not a giant horror movie fan, so
No, I mean,
gave-
kind of like Naomi was saying, I like good storytelling, and I've only, as an adult, kind of gotten into some horror movies. If people
Yeah.
have told me that, this one's really just well done as a film, and the storytelling and acting are good. But yeah, Halloween is one of those that I've just never seen.
Yep.
For one, it was.
You still haven't seen it?
I still haven't seen it. I figure I'll watch it with you guys.
You're coming over. We're gonna
Okay.
watch this movie
Did
this
a
year.
reaction video. See me getting scared.
I don't know if I've seen it either.
You can live
Naomi, I'm
stream
coming
it.
too.
Yes, you should come
I
over.
know. People are like, what?
All right,
I've seen
Halloween.
the first Halloween.
I
That's
don't-
kind of it. Yeah, I think I just saw the first one.
I want to make an event out of it if I do watch it.
It will be.
What is
do a
announced.
live
weird is
stream.
like I know all these guys though. You know what I mean? I know the Mike Myers. I know the Eddie Munsters and like these are my people now. These are my homies. And
These are
like
your
I don't even
right.
know their songs. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. You know, after my role in American Horror Story.
your other career.
Right. No, but yeah, there's. Let's
So
see what
these
else.
are ones you have not
I have a
seen.
long list of movies I've never seen.
These
that
are movies you have
classic
not
horror
seen,
movies.
and tell you what, our collective consciousness,
We're gonna all like be shocked.
we will shout. But we'll tell you because you do have a lot of
We should
movies
have
on
more
here.
candy so we could throw candy at him for everyone
okay.
who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, but-
Because we have, like,
No,
Well, how
two
about this?
pieces.
Take us through your movie list, and we'll let because you're
Okay.
not gonna be able to probably see all these. We'll let you know which ones are probably your
Let's
best.
see. Well, we said Halloween. The Exorcist.
That
You
you,
can't
have
miss
to
that.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did listen to the audiobook of the novel, and I was like, this is really a very beautiful story of redemption. Anyway.
I have not seen that all the way through either.
Really?
We were watching it last year, and Luke stopped at
No,
the,
this was
the
5
spider
or
walk
6 years
scene.
ago.
It just freaked him out. So,
It's good. It's
the
a good one.
demonic stuff kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
Child's Play.
Yep, good one.
Never seen those.
I've seen
I
them
think
on
I've seen them on
Sobriety
TV,
Chucky.
but I don't think I've seen the
Demonic-
unedited. Yeah,
I've
which
never
is
seen
way
the.
better.
Well, I did because I remember the bones
Hello,
breaking.
Andy.
Yeah.
I've never seen Children of the Corn.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Thank you everybody for coming out tonight.
Yay.
This is a late night. We kind of are finishing up super late tonight. We hope that you guys had a good time. I'm getting out of frame a little bit.
You're
over there.
like.
So, if you have any more movies that Derek needs to see or any of us need to see, please
He's
let
like,
us know.
"Liz."
I have a friend, our friend Scott. I won't say his last name right now, but he does a movie a day for the month of October. I know the Sci-Fi Network. If you guys watch them, they are doing the 31 Days of Halloween right now with tons of horror movies.
Go on Shudder.com to watch them for free.
Shudder right now. This is a month. I mean, this month of October is one of the best months to catch up on horror movies. Check out the Horror Movie News podcast.
And show. Yeah,
and-
tomorrow, 4
and show.
p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Popcorn Talk.
Also, check out Horror TV.
TV News, they're Tuesday night at 10 or 9.
I believe it's 9.
Yeah, I think it's at 9.
And also, subscribe here. We will be back with another Scare Guy, I think, in 2 weeks. I think next week we're coming back with a Con Guy because Stanley's LA Comic Con is coming up and we have to talk about that as well. So anyways, guys, have a great, scary time. There's so many good things out there. Go out to, if you're in LA, go to the Haunted Hayride. Go to the 17th floor, 17th doors. Someone told me about that today. There's a great one out in Woodland Hills. There's a great one we're going to in a couple of weeks. There's so many great things. I love this time of year. There's so much to do. Let us know what you have going on, and we'll talk about it here in the show. You can find me at thescareguy.com. That's thescareguy.com. Or find me on Twitter at ConGuyJim. Where can we find you?
Yes,
The
you can.
Twitter. That's Ben's line. Ben, we miss you.
Ben, where you been? Ben was out in the Wasteland convention. We're going to get some pictures from him hopefully next week.
You can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's Karidlane.
I'm at Naomi W. Grossman.
I'm at Con Guy Derek, spelled like Derek Zoolander.